It's a great question. I mean, just first, I want to talk about Dak because he's become one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I've watched more football this year than any other year because in normal years you're getting ready for a game, so you're never watching football, right? And you might see some scores on your phone, and maybe every now and then see a Sunday night game, and you might get part of Monday or Thursday, but you're just not watching a lot of games. And this year I watched a lot more games than usual, and you know, Tom had some comments about Brady had some comments about some of the mediocrity in the game, and I just want to say Dak is not who he was talking about
Okay.
for a number of reasons. But I just love that he's really playing the position. What I mean by that is I'm watching him make Ringo calls. So that's protection adjustments against these crazy looks and picking things up. I'm watching him, bring the tight end back in against the zero pressure and throw an old concept we used to run for a touchdown to CeeDee Lamb in the back of the end zone. I'm watching him use his cadence beautifully and get into this rhythmic here we go into like dummy using it as a dummy sometimes doing it twice into like other cadences. I mean, the last 4 or 5 weeks I've gotten to see more of their games, and I just want to say like he's playing a position in a really impressive way. And for whatever reason, maybe because he's the Cowboys quarterback and it's one of those premier positions in sports, like I feel like the Green Bay quarterback has been for a long time, and some other, positions in various sports. He might take a little more shit than he deserves, or maybe it's deserving of the position, I guess. But I love the way he's playing, and I love the way he's playing, like really playing. I'm not talking about just like making good throws. I'm talking about like it seems more rare that guys are actually really playing a position where you're making adjustments, you're handling everything line of scrimmage. Now you're doing this crazy cadence stuff. Like I love it, and I just want to shout out Dak for like really impressing me.
Good people, it's your boy Mr. Rome, Cowboys fan talk, right back. Like I never left. What's good? Welcome to Car Studios, CFT Studios, off-road or whatever you want to call it. First and foremost, let me just say I appreciate y'all, man. Real talk, I appreciate the support from y'all, especially my day ones, people that's been with me for years. We've been building this thing organically, putting in real work, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been rocking with me for a minute or people that just joined on. It's definitely appreciated. Let's talk about Arron Rodgers, man. Let's talk about Arron Rodgers. You heard the clip. You clicked on the video, you heard the clip. You probably heard it already before you clicked on this video, but you're probably wondering what's CFT's opinion on this thing. And it's simple. It's real simple. The thing that I focused on with that whole Arron Rodgers thing is it was unprovoked. Pat McAfee, shout out to Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee show. They wanted to focus on Dak's cadence because it's unique. It's the here we go, and it's catchy and it makes people want to talk about cadences. And Arron said, nah, I want to talk about Dak Prescott's play. Now, Dak Prescott has been getting so much praise this year, it almost feels like a setup. I said that on Twitter yesterday. Y'all can follow me on Twitter if y'all want to, Cowboys_fan talk. And I was saying it just doesn't feel quite right. It don't feel as genuine. Colin Cowherd's giving props, and shout out to Nick Wright. He's been giving genuine props all year. But there's a lot of people that just feel like they're just throwing stuff at the wall, waiting for us to fail. It feels not genuine. So I want the Cowboys to just keep stacking wins and focus on things like that. Don't worry about MVP awards and Defensive Player of the Year awards. It's not as important because people just want us to fail. They want to build us up to knock us down. But Arron Rodgers was talking about just the quarterback play in general. He was saying he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. That stood out to me. Because it's like, he could have chose anyone else. He could have said, Joe Burrow before he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? He could have said C.J. Stroud because everybody loves him right now. He's the flavor of the week. He could have said Jalen Hurts because he's, clutch. Patrick Mahomes. There's so many other quarterbacks, Josh Allen. He went with Dak Prescott, and I know he was the top of the conversation, but He could have just said, yeah, his cadence is this and went on. He wanted to specify, no, I'm watching him do things I've done in the Mike McCarthy offense. That's probably what caught his eye. He said everything, but he's playing just as well as I did in the offense. That's a major cap tip from one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Someone that has definitely been, let's just say, a thorn in our side for mad years as Cowboys fans. But for Arron Rodgers to do that, that's major props. And he went into detail about what Dak is doing with the cadence at the line and changing plays, moving protection, moving players with his eyes. He said just playing the quarterback position at a premium level, basically, for lack of better wording. And I think that's super dope. I think it's better validation from the people like Emmanuel Acho, who, barely had an NFL career, you know what I'm saying, but is very, very critical when he talks to people. Some of the other sports analysts that, that just, they're trying to be bigger in the media than they ever were on the field. So when one of the best quarterbacks ever can give his head nod to one of the quarterbacks that's been scrutinized the most ever, I say he's the most hated player in the NFL. And I think it's true. Irony is these are two of the most hated players in the NFL, one tipping his hat to the other. I just think it's dope. I think it's super dope. I think that we should not throw a blind eye to it. And I just wanted to add my 2 cents. So if I ever want to just pull up my old videos and look at I remember that time Arron Rodgers gave Dak Prescott multiple props, unprovoked, called him one of his favorites. That's dope. Now let's talk about the Seattle game, man. If you guys are free later, I'll probably be going live with my brother Jay Tuck, my brother DMV, around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on everyone's channel. Y'all definitely come and tap in, you know what I'm saying? Good little conversation. We're going to talk about tomorrow's game and what's going on with the Cowboys, etc. I feel like this is going to be one of the most mentally toughest games we have this year. Now, hear me out. It's not that we're not better in Seattle. We are way better in Seattle, and they got great players. DK is a great player, although he has trouble catching and focusing. I feel like, Geno's had some resurgence. They got great receivers, Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigma. Bobby Wagner can still play. We wanted him on the Cowboys. They got Leonard from New York, and they got players. They got young players. They got Kenneth Walker. They got a good running back. So they're not a slouch. Pete Carroll could coach. They're not a slouch team by no means. It's not that. It's not that I don't feel like we're way better than them. You already know our roster. It's the mental aspect. Everyone has been waiting for us to fail. It's the first game against a team that's over 500. Now, they're 6-5. They've lost 2 straight. So they're not quite the Seattle everybody, has been seeing. So I'm waiting for the hate to seep in. Nick Wright said it perfectly. Yes, let me let you listen to what Nick Wright says.
You got Micah saying they need a break from elite competition. Guess what? Ironically, they ain't getting no breaks. This is their schedule. Seattle, Philadelphia, Buffalo, that if they can still be alive, that's going to be a tough game if Buffalo's alive. Miami and Detroit. And then you got Washington. So their next 5 games are going to be tough. We're going to see what they're made of.
When they hammer Seattle on Thursday Night Football, guess what's going to happen, Greg? You'll be here.
Like San Francisco?
Brew's going to come out, and we're going to have a new tomato can. And he's going to talk. He's going to talk about Geno Smith turning into a pumpkin, and how Seattle's lost 3 in a row, and how they're not that good. And then
they're in the playoffs. Correct.
Right.
I will not,
and the Rams are 5-6, and they're on here.
So listen, Nick is right on the money. After we pummel Seattle, they won't be a good team anymore. I just want y'all to know. Just let it settle in. Don't think it'll be anything different. No matter how we beat Seattle, just know that when we beat Seattle, they will not be looked at as a good team anymore. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. There's a gem to be picked up in this. Worry about yourself. Worry about what we can control. Handle our business. Control. I've been saying it. Control what we can control. Stop worrying about what the Eagles is doing, San Fran is doing, Detroit. Control what the Cowboys can control. Get our wins. Stack our wins. Let the chips fall where they may. You know what I'm saying? But this game will be tricky mentally because in our minds, even in the Cowboys' minds, they're going to approach this game with a little bit of urgency, knowing, okay, this is the first winning team we played in a while, and I want to see if we come out tight or loose. I want to see. If we come out tight, it's going to show me that the mental aspect of we're playing a team with a winning record is in there. I think personally that we're going to come out loose. I think that we've gained a different level of confidence since our last losses. The San Fran embarrassing loss and the close loss with Philly really changed us. These last couple of weeks have been about stacking confidence, stacking wins. I feel like we're going to come out and show Seattle, this ain't what you want. I feel like we're going to win that game in the first quarter. I think they're just going to be kind of like shocked at how good we are. I think they're going to underestimate us like the rest of the league does. And that's going to lead to our dominance. You know what I'm saying? It's just small little mental hurdles you got to conquer. This is one of them. After you knock down your first winning team, it's going to just become, another little forewarning. We'll beat the Eagles. We'll have plenty of time to talk about them, so I'm going to skip over them. When we beat Buffalo will probably be, because they're 6-6 right now, 6-7 after they play the Chiefs, heading into our game. We will make them 6-8, and they will be officially a bad team, which will make this stupid because I'm seeing one team I know beat their chest about a Buffalo victory. Buffalo is a good team, but they won't be when we beat them. The irony is like the Rams. That wasn't a good win, but they're about to be in the playoffs, so is it a good win? This is why when you play the just win-loss game and you don't add context, you sound like an idiot. Context is important. Context matters. It's not black and white. It's not just the win-loss stat sheet. It's not just regular stats. It's so many things that go into are you good, bad, etc. But look, those are my thoughts. Like I said, catch me and my boys live later, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back in the building. I just wanted to jump in here and talk with y'all. I'll holla.